on the next episode of AMC's Better Call Saul.
I got this job, and I'm kind of on a path. Jimmy McGill.
The lawyer?
We can't just keep him alive. We gotta keep him from climbing the walls.
You have to do what's best for you.
You can go in, Jimmy. He's expecting you.
Hey guys, Kiwi here. In this video, I'll be breaking down the new promo trailer for next week's episode of Better Call Saul, Season 4, Episode 6, Pinata. With that being said, a major warning of spoilers for everything in the show up to Episode 405, and let's jump right into it. So damn, last episode started off with a crazy Breaking Bad flash forward to Jimmy, or rather Saul Goodman, in his own office during Season 5 of Breaking Bad. That scene felt like it could literally be cut out of Breaking Bad and pasted into Better Call Saul, and I just love it. I'll most likely be focusing an entire video on that scene, pointing out a bunch of Easter eggs along with the main points to take away from it, so let me know of any small details that you may have noticed as well. Also, will we get any more Breaking Bad flash forwards leading up to Season 5? Oh, and real quick, I was looking up the promo images for next episode, and I noticed something really crazy. So, first off, we got two pictures with Gus, Mike, and that guy from the last episode supposedly continuing their plans to make the super lab, but the other promo is what really caught my eye. This appears to be some sort of flashback to Jimmy and Kim first meeting each other in the mailroom. When I first saw this, I was like, what the heck, this doesn't make any sense, but then I realized it must be a flashback. So, will the next episode open with a flashback of Jimmy and Kim in the mailroom? Anyways, let's continue on with the trailer. It started out with Jimmy getting out of his car in a different jumpsuit of some sort, so is he possibly going to hustle more burner phones, or maybe get back at the skids who jumped him? I say this because after Jimmy got mugged last episode, I was unsure if he was just gonna let it go or get revenge somehow. As much as I wish that Jimmy could just ask someone for a favor like Mike, Nacho, or even just that motorcycle gang we just saw him talking to last episode, if Jimmy is going to get revenge, hopefully it's by himself as he thinks up a way to outsmart them. He knows what part of town to find them in, but will he waste time getting petty revenge? The main purpose of those skids mugging him was to take him down a notch and bring him back to the real world, as he was getting carried away with the burner phone hustling. Jimmy even asked what's wrong with himself, and that in the past he would have noticed them a mile away. So will Jimmy chalk that up as a hard lesson learned, or will he actively go out of his way to get back at them? Next up, we see Jimmy talking to Kim in her kitchen, and he's explaining to her that he's got a job and he's on a path, but I'm not quite sure what he's pitching to her here. Is he being honest with her and maybe asking her for advice, or is he giving her excuses and feeding her a line of bullcrap so he can continue to try and possibly live a double life? Apparently Jimmy doesn't feel like he even really deserves Kim, so he's constantly working himself because he can't stand to sit still with himself even for a moment. Later on in the trailer, what I assume is the same conversation, we see Jimmy's hand on Kim's shoulder, and she says to him, "You have to do what's best for you." So once again, Kim's just trying to be supportive when she can, but she definitely gives off that vibe as if Jimmy is ignoring the elephant in the room once again as he rambles on about his work. So what decision is she possibly helping him decide? Is this maybe an example of them actually getting driven farther apart? Moving on, we next see Jimmy doodling at his boring CC mobile job, and he seems to be drawing down different concepts for a Wexler and McGill logo. As we know, last episode ended off with Jimmy explaining how he's going to return as a lawyer and reinstate Wexler and McGill better than before, but is that even a likely possibility? If Jimmy continues hustling on the side, whether it's hustling more phones, maybe breaking into places with Ira, or something entirely original, will he be able to return to honest work as a lawyer? I could see him taking over Caldera's spot as someone who obtains and distributes criminal connections, so is that something that he could do while waiting to become a lawyer again, possibly helping him evolve into Saul Goodman since that's pretty much what he does as well? Speaking of Jimmy becoming a lawyer though, what's the deal with that guy calling Jimmy at work and recognizing him? Jimmy answers the phone stating his name, and the person on the phone responds by saying, "The lawyer?" So this person obviously knows Jimmy from when he was a lawyer before he was suspended, but who is it? Well, listening to it a few times over, it's really starting to sound like Price. So why would Daniel Wormold be calling CC Mobile? Did he hear about Jimmy's new form of advertising, the burner phones, possibly implying that Price is back doing more side jobs selling prescription pills again? If this is Price, how did he even hear of Jimmy's new CC Mobile pitch, especially since he didn't know it was Jimmy? Is he possibly buddies with that guy that Jimmy conned last episode? Moving on, I wanted to talk about Howard for a moment because this next trailer seems to be teasing Jimmy going and talking to him. At first I thought it might actually be a fake out due to just some trickery editing by the trailer, but we can see Jimmy talking to who I assume are HHM employees, and one says, "You can go in, Jimmy, he's expecting you," as the camera cuts to Howard in his desk. I wonder if Howard is the one who called him in to talk, or if Jimmy decided to call him up and speak with Howard himself, maybe to check up on him after the rough condition he saw Howard in last episode. Howard only wants to make things right, but he has taken Kim's advice to leave her and Jimmy alone, which is why he feels like he's shared too much already. Jimmy, obviously unaware that Kim even freaked out at Howard, may actually want to go back and confront him again, so will it strictly be business or will it be personal? Now, at the end of the trailer, we see Jimmy standing in front of the nail salon in a suit as he watches the back of a truck open up. Then, beforehand in the trailer, there was also a clip of someone paying for a delivery order, and it appears to be Jimmy as he has the same suit if you look at the sleeves. So that piece of paper has the capitals COD on it, which stands for cash on delivery. Considering Jimmy is paying with $100 bills, it must have to be something big, right? But what is it? He's ordering it to the nail salon and not CC Mobile, so I'm unsure if it even has anything to do with his job or not. Whatever he's ordering, will it be involved with his legitimate job? Maybe it has to do with what he was talking to Kim about earlier? Or does the shipment have a role to play in a possible slip in Jimmy Con in the near future? Jimmy's dressed up in a suit when he doesn't otherwise need to be, so why is he even in a suit to accept this delivery order? What does he have planned? The synopsis for episode 406 says that while Jimmy daydreams about reconstituting Wexler McGill, Kim sets out to secure her own future, Mike puts a plan in motion for Gus. So with that being said, let's move on to Mike's side of things. It seems like he's still giving Gus a lending hand in helping set up the super lab. He seems to be giving Gus advice onto how to keep someone in line, but who may that be? Mike says you can't just keep him alive, you gotta keep him from climbing the walls. So is he implying that Gus needs to make sure that the people under him don't try to get any big ideas? Is he even talking about Gus's workers, or are they possibly talking about Hector? When we take a look at the synopsis for episode 407, the episode after this, we take a look at the part that involves Gus, and it says, Gus intervenes in Hector's medical care, Mike deals with a setback. So first off, the setback is probably something to do with the super lab, but what about Gus intervening with Hector's treatments? What I think might happen is that in episode 406, we'll likely see setup of Gus possibly checking in on Hector, along with maybe suggesting that he'll get further involved or that he wants the doctors to try something dangerous. The synopsis descriptions seem to mention things that happened in the previous episode, such as Jimmy daydreaming about Wexler McGill in 406 when we first heard him mention his intentions at the end of 405, and I feel like we'll get something similar to that with Gus and Hector at the end of 406, leading into Gus actually intervening in 407. Oh, and feel free to check out the video that I recently did focusing on all the synopsis descriptions for the remaining episodes of Season 4, I'll link it at the end of the video. Finally, the name for the next episode is called Pinata, possibly implying that someone will get beat like one. We made the possible Nacho reference from Season 1, but is that necessarily the case? In this promo trailer, we even see what appears to be someone walking forward as they drag a baseball bat on the ground beside them, so is this person going to beat someone up with a baseball bat like a pinata? Leave any theories or predictions down below, but that's pretty much it for the video, guys. I'd appreciate a like on the video if you've enjoyed anything I've said today, as it really helps me out. Feel free to subscribe for more Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad content in the near future, and if you'd like to take that extra step in helping support the channel, feel free to check out my Patreon as well. Also follow me on Twitter too, link to both of those in the description. I'm fairly active on Twitter even when I'm not posting videos, and I'm always retweeting everything I can involving both Better Call Saul and The Walking Dead. But anyways, anyways guys, as always, I thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out!